Many people think when they're speaking in public that the goal is actually to sound smart. And the way that they do this, even if they're not consciously aware of the fact that they are trying to sound smart, what they're doing is using big words. And I understand this because I used to do this myself. And I used to think if I used really big words, then I would sound like I knew what I was talking about. So I was feeding my ego by having people, in my opinion, think that if I could use great big words, then people would think I was really smart and therefore that I deserved to be on stage. The other thing that I did and that I've seen people do a lot is to add as much detail as humanly possible into the talk. Again, the intent behind this is to somehow prove that they should be there and that they know what they're talking about. Maybe you've done that yourself. But here's the problem. When you try to sound smart, it creates a situation where you become hard to listen to. I'm going to repeat that because it's very important. When you try and sound smart, you become hard to listen to. And the reason for that is it creates distance between you and your audience and it confuses people. In fact, instead of sounding confident and knowledgeable to your audience, it can often sound like you're trying too hard. And I know I have done this myself. It's a little bit like trying to show that you're a great driver by speeding really fast and taking the corners really quickly. Now, for a moment, just a moment, it might look really impressive to somebody else. But to everyone in the car, they feel uncomfortable, unsafe, and they certainly don't trust you. That is exactly what happens when you overload your message when you're talking. People aren't thinking, wow, she's really smart or he's really smart. What they're actually thinking is, I'm really struggling to keep up here. I don't know what they're talking about. Now, I have seen this happen so many times before. The speaker gets up and they fill up their talk with great big words and really detailed explanations. And you can literally see the audience's eyes glaze over. They start to lose focus. They start to do the dreaded pick up the phone and start to scroll through the phone. People stop engaging. They start checking. Then I've seen at the same event another speaker get up. And this speaker was talking about the exact same topic, different perspective but the same topic. But they were very clear, very simple, very direct with their talk. And suddenly, people were leaning in. So I take a lot of time at events watching the audience. When they're watching the speaker, I'm watching the audience. And I'm watching this audience and they're leaning in and they're nodding and they're really connecting with what the speaker's saying. So this is the same room, the same topic, but a completely different impact from the speaker. So now that we know that using big words unnecessarily and using too much information really disconnects us from the audience and it doesn't make us sound smart, it actually makes us really boring and unappealing to listen to. So how do we fix this? Well, simple solution, basically. Don't try and sound impressive. That's not what you're there for. What we're there for as speakers is to be clear. And that's very important because clarity creates certainty for our audience. And when our audience feels certain that they understand what we're talking about, it makes our expertise really valued. Everybody with me so far? Give me a thumbs up. Good. Okay. So here are 3 simple ways to create clarity and certainty in your audience. Number 1, whatever you're talking about, cut the content in half. I'm going to let that sink in for a moment. Cut your content in half. Think of it like packing for a trip. If your suitcase is overflowing, you don't need a bigger suitcase. you need fewer clothes. And it's the same with your message. Most people are going to want to say more than they actually need to. So cut out the extra content. So for example, instead of saying, what I'm trying to communicate here is that consistency over a long period of time ultimately leads to results. Instead, you could say, consistency creates results. Same idea, much more power, right? Everybody see that? Excellent. So that's number one, cut your content in half. Number two, say one idea at a time. It's a bit like, let's say you get up and in the middle of, you get up and you think to yourself, I'm going to eat, right now I'm going to eat my breakfast and my lunch and my dinner all at once. Doesn't matter how good that food is. You're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to be able to process it and you'll probably feel a bit sick. Your audience is the same. Don't try and feed them all the 3 meals at once. Separate your ideas out so it's easy for them to actually consume. So instead of saying, you need to be consistent, stay motivated, and track your progress so that you can improve over time, separate it out. First, be consistent. Then, track your progress, because that's how you improve. You might notice the use of pauses in there, very deliberate to help indicate that separation of ideas. Now your audience can actually follow you. So that's number two. Number three, ditch the big words. Just use everyday conversational language. It's a bit like using GPS. This is one of my personal favorites. I get in a car and I want to know where I'm going. If the first thing that my GPS has this nasty habit of telling me is proceed in a southwesterly direction. Yeah, right. I want left, I want right, I want up, I want down. What is this southwest, northeast crap? Just tell me left or right, okay? It's the same with your speaking. Instead of saying something like, we need to implement a strategic approach to optimize those performance outcomes, why not say, we need a simple plan that gets better results? Use everyday language. Trying to sound smart might impress people for just a moment, but being clear as a speaker builds trust, connection, and above all, impact. Because when people understand us, they respect us and they follow us, and we're all in business, so this is the big one, they want to work with us because that's what real speaking confidence actually looks like.